Alright, so I decided to do the topic on online relationships, and the topic I chose is about online dating or social networking. This covers the dangers of the online world and the positive outlooks as well. Staying in touch is important, but not knowing who you're talking to is as well. Why I chose this topic. I chose this specific topic in general because I knew it would be fun to learn and write about, and it is also important for others to know as well. Source 1 shows that the paper was first reviewed for existing literature regarding emotional support. Based on the literature review, the paper proposes the research model and hypothesis. Source 2 shows how gender is based on stereotypical depictions and beliefs that discriminate, especially against women, gaming, and in general. And for Source 2, we studied this earlier on, and it was about, beliefs on gender and stuff, and I felt like that kind of related to what we had already learned. Source 3 shows that examining only one platform weakens the folks' capacity to understand the effects of social media across platforms. For this one, it's basically talking about how, you would better understand it if you're using multiple platforms rather than just using one. And then Source 4 shows that social networking is increasing continuously and can be a way for keeping in touch. But on the other hand, online socializing causes anxiety and takes a toll on self-esteem and satisfaction when people start to rely on social media. The data and analysis. Source 1 had to conduct a data analysis of 4 predictors using SmartPlus. The results of the structural model had passed on the participants, and the participants were satisfied. For this one, they used SmartPlus for to test your well-being and your emotional levels for just how you feel using social networking sites and stuff. Source 2 was used to test the time spent watching televisions or movies. This was called the Hayes process, and the reason it was called the Hayes process is because it was Hayes' theory. He came up with that idea. And it also shows the hypothesis of the moderation effect depicting higher and lower levels of online gaming, meaning the time you spend playing, if it's more or less. Source 3 was used to test the mitigating effects of the fear of missing out. And in the article, this was referred to as FOMO. I had to read a little bit more and understand what that meant. The problematic smartphone use, the results of the correlation analysis showed that the 4 variables correlated with each other. Source 4 resulted in a preliminary analysis and a missing data analysis. The data plan was to capture the experiences of young adults and a population of social media users living in the United States, meaning this was only for one particular location, basically that being the United States. So they all captured the experiences of people using social networking in the United States. Discussion and key findings. Source 1 shows the findings of both genders being influenced by social networking and conducted how social media has effect on well-being, how this affects you emotionally. Okay, Source 2 shows the findings of frequent game playing and how it's associated with more negative beliefs towards women. Because of this, there is a lack of trust and discrimination against female gamers due to their sex roles, basically due to their gender, same kind of perception. Source 3 shows the study was aimed to explore the online social networking sites or ways it predicts addiction and whether the fear of missing out on problematic smartphone use mediate this association, meaning they are becoming more into their phones because they're afraid that they might be missing out on certain stuff that's posted or stuff online. Source 4 shows more findings suggesting that benefits reverse as people use social media more often. And because of this, people tend to feel more isolated, meaning that instead of feeling as happy as they used to with using their phones and having their phones, it's starting to feel reverse because they're using it more often, leading them to feel less happy and less satisfied with themselves. And this can cause somebody to feel kind of isolated. Life with online relationships. The knowledge could be applied with my life and career by showing me as a young adult myself that while social networking can be a good thing, it should not reflect who I am, and how limiting myself can also be beneficial. And at the bottom, I included all the articles, sources, and what I had found. And I kind of feel like this goes with online dating because, like, we rely on people, whether it being, like, in person, over the phone, and they kind of just, like, you just sitting there waiting for them to text back and stuff like that can take an effect on your emotional well-being, just sitting around waiting for someone.